Hey folks, I'm Mr. Hartzler, and I want to talk to you about exponents. Let's get started. The definitions. Well, this one, hopefully you kind of remember this from class, but we have a squared. That's just the same as a times a, right? And a times a is the same thing as a squared. Those things are equivalent, and that's because exponents, they're just a shorter way of writing multiplication, right? I don't want to write multiplication out a whole bunch of times so I can use exponents. Just like I can use multiplication to show a whole bunch of addition. But let's look at another example. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 5s all being multiplied together. Because they're all the same thing, I can write that like an exponent. 5, 6 times, 5 raised to the 6th power. Now that gets more helpful when it's bigger things like 5p times 5p. Well, that's just all of 5p, so I have to put it in parentheses, squared, because that happens twice. 5p shows up once and then twice. So I have 5p raised to that squared, but don't forget those parentheses. I do absolutely have to have those. And a fun little thing here is we could call this multiplication of powers. And I have 5 squared times p squared. That 2 can get distributed to all of the things inside being multiplied together, which is kind of cute, but not really the focus of this video. So let's get going. I need to write using exponents. So all of this, I need to condense it down using exponents. Well, I have a 5. Okay, so I know I'm going to have a 5 down here. I have it 1, 2, 3 times, which means I have an exponent of 3. Well, then I have a b. Okay, so I know that's going to be down here. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Does the b get multiplied together? So its exponent is a 4. Then off to the right, I've got a different example. There's 2 10s. So I have a 10, and it's squared because there's 2 of them. We call that maybe a multiplicity of 2. And then I have 2 a's being multiplied together. So that's going to be an a, yep, squared. And then I've got a b. How many times does b show up? Well, just once. But the nice thing is I don't actually have to write a 1. It's just assumed. So I could just leave that off. You can write a 1. Most of the time, if you're putting this into an online program, it's not going to want that. So I would just write it like this. Ignore the 1 up there. It's just assumed to be there. Ooh, a little bit harder. Now we're actually starting at the condensed form, and we need to split that sucker up, make it look big. We're going to expand, or write it in an expanded form for exponential notation. That's just a fancy way of saying I've got exponents. I want to expand it, make it bigger. -2, and then it's raised to the 3rd power, which means I have a -2 3 times. Oh, and I wrote a 3, of course, because I said 3. Oh, let's try again. -2. -2, -2. I have 3 of them because that's what my exponent said. So I have to split this up into 3. Now I have 5x. All of that is being squared. Well, I'm going to write down my parentheses because this did too, just like I did last time with that -2. If this has parentheses, I'm going to have parentheses. 5x is what's inside my parentheses. And then I have 2 sets of that, right? It's an exponent of 2, which means I get 1 over here and 1 right here. And again, they used parentheses, so I use parentheses. And that's it, folks. Short video. Have a great day. And if you have any questions, make sure you talk to your teacher and ask them for help.